Mankind, moments from now, inside this boiler room, you're being forced to take on Santa Claus.
Well, if you believe in Santa Claus, then believe this, my friend.
The $1 Million Man is Bob Santa!
If he's not the real Santa Claus, give me a hell no.
I celebrate Hanukkah. Why am I doing this?
It's Christmas.
Santa is wrestling Kurt Angle at Armageddon.
St. Nicholas is a saint.
Do it for Santa, man.
Do it for Santa. Do it for Santa.
This is McGuire on Wrestling.
Hello, ho, 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 and welcome to the first ever McGuire on Wrestling Holiday Hullabaloo. It's a hodgepodge of a show put together by yours truly, and a chance for you to just sit back and maybe just have some company. Maybe you're on a long drive, or maybe you got some stuff you're working on. Maybe you're using the holiday break to, I don't know, clean your garage or something. Whatever you have us on for today, thank you, as always, for being here. A little bit of a different format for the show. Going to enjoy a bit of a holiday break here. I'm actually recording this, though, on Christmas Eve. It's December 23rd, so I waited till the absolute last minute I could. Myself, going to be on a rather lengthy road trip over the next couple of days. If you know me at all, or if you followed me at all, you know that that's nothing new, but some exciting developments coming in 2024 that I can't wait to share with you guys. Nevertheless, we are here to give you some holiday cheer and, of course, talk a little bit about wrestling here and there, because that's what we do. If you saw the episode slide, you know, the picture that comes with every weekly episode, then you've seen the array of guests that are going to be on this program. If not, and maybe you don't want to preview it, maybe you don't want to read the text, don't. And just sit back and listen and enjoy. I'm not sure how long we're going here. I know we got a few segments that went a little long and some that didn't go quite as long, but nevertheless, it's just in the hopes of keeping you company, doing whatever it is you got to do during this holiday season. Maybe this is your chance to get a break. I get it. As busy and as crazy as the holiday season can be sometimes, you just like to kick back and listen to a podcast or watch a wrestling match, whatever it is that makes you happy. That's what this is all about. So we're going to be back to the regular format in a couple of weeks, but there's still going to be stuff here for you to listen to. In the meantime, just thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thanks for supporting the show. Let's get started with the Christmas Hullabaloo with our first very special guest.
Hello and holiday greetings to the listeners of McGuire on Wrestling. This is RJ City, and I just wanted to say, are you really listening? Are you really listeners? Or are you just hearing? The way you hear things outside, they go whoosh, a car drives by, you hear a bird, but you're not listening to it. You're just hearing it. I want you to change your audible habits. I want you to start listening to McGuire, Mr. McGuire, big Mr. McGuire. I want you to listen to what he has to say. Pay attention, hear it, process it. Think about it, respond, look in the mirror and say, what is he trying to say? Because he is one of the greatest wrestling analysts of our time, which might not say much, because it's not that hard to do. That match was great. That thing doesn't make any sense. Well, that's the show. Happy holidays.
Joining me, they are the hosts of the alternate commentary table. 5 months in and flexing their dad bods.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I've been, if you see some of the muscle tone I have, Mike.
You know what? I got to give you credit, Mitch. Your gains have been, I don't know what you're doing.
Hey,
but it's
the same thing. Randy's on, AJ's on, and by the way, I'm hoping with Charlotte being off for the next 9 months, Charlotte, you're already a workout fiend. Please do not add any more mass, please.
She comes in looking like Bobby Lashley.
Oh my God.
Just jacked. Like, okay, who's the trainer?
That's the only way it can go, because she's already in such great shape. But never, yeah, what a time for wrestlers. And we talked about it a couple weeks ago with the physiques and everybody getting the high-end training now. And
yeah, absolutely.
for you as wrestling fans, and since the launch of this show, I know you were doing your sports show podcast for 7 years. Is it now? You've been doing that?
Yeah, it'll be coming up to 7 years this year.
And then some chucklehead with a wrestling podcast comes along and says, hey, we're already working together doing this. How would you guys feel like doing a little show here for the podcast feed? And I'm genuinely curious. You don't have to say this is butter my bread, okay? I'm not looking for the Mike McGuire compliment fest here. What I'm wondering is more from a perspective of interacting with the listeners, the community, and maybe your views on wrestling as a whole since coming on and starting with the alternate commentary table. How has the year been for you? Has it been worth it? Is it something like, we should probably talk about next year because... But I mean, where are you guys at,
Mike? Can we chat to you over?
Yeah.
No. I'll tell you. It was such a great opportunity and blessing, right? I mean, the one thing that I realized more so than I thought I already knew is how much of a wrestling fan I actually am day to day, but just don't get to really chat about it.
Right.
And it's one thing to listen to your show, and then now we have the alternate commentary table where Mitch and I get to talk about it, and when you're in town. But the Team MoW group is really fun. And I think the nicest thing is it's always nice to know that you're getting embraced by the listeners, and you get that positive feedback. And it's nice to say, okay, well, we're doing something right that people can gravitate to, but the banter within it is really fun. And I think what's cool is when they listen to the shows or they bring up a topic and they just throw it in the community. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Right. Or sometimes we get inspired from those talking points. That's what's really cool as well. Like, Joe might throw something up and say, all right, yeah, okay, we'll get to it this Saturday or whatever the case may be. Right. Of course, Tips is Greek, so I mean, he's our guy now.
Listen, we grew up in the Greek community, Mike, and that's kind of half our shtick is that, we're buddies that grew up together and we love the wrestling at the same time. But the big thing is you've created a community. You should be very proud of yourself. And you took a great idea and you've made it into something that everyone gets to play with and mold and help you, build this thing. It's awesome. I am going to tell you right now, at 45 years old, I'm telling you my age, I am a bigger fan now than I've ever been, and I appreciate and I thank you, Mike. It's been fun. And that's the thing. Like, with all due respect, you and the Meltzer and the rest of the team, you guys have this side of the sandbox. I appreciate you giving Dimitri and I the other side where we get to be ourselves.
The very far corner.
The very far corner in the side. And we're having
for
fun.
For some reason, the sand is always wet.
Yeah. We don't know. Exactly. No, man, it's been great. And everyone that's on it, I love it. And you can tell people are starting to open up a little bit.
Yeah.
People are starting to say some more things. And we definitely take what you guys are on there and saying, and we try to, use that as material going forward.
Yeah, what I like about the McGuire on Wrestling podcast feed is anyone can get a little bit of everything on the show, right? Because your show is a nice variety show. Like you have exposés, you talk with the Meltzer, you have the recap, you've done with the Zoom calls, with the live events. That's awesome. And then you have the alternate commentary table, so everyone can kind of get a little something every week how they want it. But that's also wrestling.
Yeah,
that's the business as a fan.
The funny thing, from recording this thing literally in my camper to here in a University of Calgary studio to my home studio to my radio station, the funny thing is, like, it's to me, it's kind of, I try and make it a tribute to what we do in indie wrestling or what I've done in indie wrestling in the past, where it's like the show's got to happen either way. And sometimes you're going to have situations where people are going to come in and, I was in a situation before where honestly, it wasn't my show. I was given the reins of it and I was trusted with it, and it was awesome. But I think the second you come into trying to do a wrestling show or a wrestling podcast or any kind of a show like this, without the intention of trying to service who's actually listening and who's actually watching, and trying to make it more about yourself than what you're doing, that's where you're screwing up. And that was why I even lamented about the McGuire on Wrestling name. There's still a part of me that doesn't like it, because it's just, it's me talking about wrestling and I got Dave on, but that's just it. I'm talking about what everybody's talking about, and I try and talk about what everybody's talking about. And honestly, it was something done in a pinch, because I was not going to give up. I've been wanting to do this my whole life, and I didn't realize it until I was doing it.
Yeah, fair point.
And there's some people that want to, that want to sometimes ruin the fun for you. And as long as you stay determined and stay true to your vision and know in your heart that what you're doing is a good thing, then I think you actually allow people like that to come into your life. I think that's how getting the Hart family on board, getting you guys on board, getting old friends and old colleagues from other ventures on board. I think that when you're listening to the show, I hope anyways, that you're getting it as a place from not just a guy that wants to sit here and piss and moan about wrestling, but from someone who actually wants to talk about it from a place of legitimately appreciating it. And it sounds so cheesy, but legitimately just loving it, because that's what the intent of this whole thing has been. So I thank you guys for being on board, especially. Again, it's always something big's coming. I'm not going to do that to you guys to death. But guys, like I said before, we are in the baby steps of this thing. And you guys know that. And you know my expectations are. And the expectation is that if you're doing this podcast and for one day it feels like work, then don't do it anymore.
Yeah, you said that from day one.
I think if you listen to the podcast, you can definitely tell we don't think it's work.
But you touched, you're talking about it, Mike, but you touched on it, Mitch, as well, as that it's fun and it should be fun. And that's what entertainment at its core should be. Like you mentioned, with the sports show and the podcast, like even sports, for example, sports is one of those things. No different than wrestling. You have a team or you have an allegiance or whatever the case is. And sometimes people can take it way too far down the trough where it just does not become fun anymore. And that entertainment should never get to that level, right? So you should keep it fun, keep it fresh, have your disagreements, throw a chair shot in,
chair shot. Figuratively.
We
do not encourage actually hitting
we do not encourage, no.
Even though there is a t-shirt for you to buy that says just that.
So. And please do so. Stocking stuffer today.
That's right.
A birthday in the future.
Hey, you want a year in review? We would like to actually be able to review that year by not selling the archives. McGuireShow.com.
We're never selling anything. We're never selling anything but t-shirts and possibly other merch. That's the other thing,
Crypto donations can go to
That's the last thing about this, though. Again, this show is always going to be free. It's always going to be something you can just download and listen to, and let us worry about how we're paying for it, because that's the last thing I'll say is that I never, I use the line of, hey, if The Undertaker is going to be charging money to tell his stories, what the heck right do we have asking them to pay for ours? So
unless they want to know what happens after 2 a.m. at a dungeon show. I mean, at that point.
Well, you're the only one that knows that, because Mitch and I go home.
Exactly.
I need to get out of there.
Exactly.
Because I know the story will be about me at the end, so that's why I need to get out of there.
Thanks for being here.
Hey, it's our pleasure. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for everything, man. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for everything, Mike.
You filthy animals.
Now I'm going to give you to the count of 3 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keisters off my mat before I pump your guts full of
chair shot.
Hey, this is Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer Newsletter, and I want to wish everybody happy holiday season this year.
Were you listening to Bootsy Collins, you said?
Yeah, this is Bootsy's Christmas record, man. It's Christmas forever, baby. I love it. It's great. I'm walking in a winter wonderland, baby.
I might have been listening to another famous wrestling podcaster this week who also brought up Bootsy Collins and their affirmation for the record covers of one Bootsy Collins.
I have several. I have several of his records on vinyl. They do have great covers. Yeah.
Dan the Mouth Lovranski is here. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, my friend.
Yes, same to you. It's that time of year. Like I said, listening to Bootsy's Christmas record, just getting into the feel of the season here,
So we're recording on Christmas Eve. Yeah, it's the 22nd.
Yeah, it's the 22nd, right.
Yeah, so we are now, I believe, 22 days into the advent calendar of Lovranski.
Yes, yeah, it's great. I love it. It's Katie puts it together for me every year. She made you saw the picture of the structure, right?
Oh,
it's
actually,
it's a bunch of old Pringles cans. The initial year that she made, she made it, I had to eat Pringles like a madman because she uses the tubes. That's how she puts the cans in the calendar. It's all tubes, right?
I love it.
So you can just pull the lid off and pull the beer out, right? So yeah, it works out really great. And Yeah, today was Great Lakes Pompous Ass, so it's just chilling in the fridge right now. And after we finish this, it's probably going to be opened.
That seems like a fitting title for the holidays this year. I don't know why, but that seems like a really good name. So it's been a while since we last chatted. I think the last time we chatted was...
it was Adrian Street, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I think so. Yeah, we talked about Adrian Street, yeah.
Played a lot of the music and talked about a lot of the memories of his career. And since then, we'll drop a line to each other once in a while. And
exactly.
Man, it's been great. But, the fun thing is that when you have this time apart, we get to catch up, and then we get to catch up with everybody listening. So, I mean, this might go well. This might be incredibly boring, but I don't think it's ever boring. I don't think it's ever been boring in the time I've known you, man. So.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. There's always something to talk about. That's for sure.
So when I was at your place, it was getting close to, it was summer, but then I remember seeing your Halloween decorations, some of which stay out all year round. I have to ask, does the Lovranski Casa get Christmas-fied at all?
Yeah, not in a huge way, but I do. I put up lights, and I put up the very old school lights with the big bulbs that burn through the electricity like mad. And blow molds. We have a big affair in this house with blow molds. So I got 2 Santas out here. I actually have a blow mold here in the living room.
Well, I don't know if I need to see it. Oh, you're talking about.
And
gotcha. Yeah,
there's blow mold. That's what they're called.
What? Okay. I actually don't know it by that name. What is that?
Okay. They're those old school.
Can you show me, or is it too set up?
It's kind of. Let's see here. No, I don't. Yeah,
just lifting up your whole computer.
Well, I have to, right on the phone. Right, I can't really show you. So,
okay, I'm going to Google this right now as people who are listening with me.
They're old school Christmas decorations. They're made out of plastic. They have a light inside them, and they look bright. They're always or snowmen or candles, or it's here's what the modern day equivalent, Mike, is those inflatable ones, the big inflatable things that everybody has now. That's kind of taken the place of the blow mold. It used to be the blow molds when I was a kid, right?
So the blow mold is like the big hollowed out plastic, or in some cases ceramic, but mostly plastic. And
they're usually plastic and then painted on the outside, and light bulb sits in the middle and kind of lights the whole thing up, right? So got a couple of those out there.
I had a giant penguin for years that my birth mom actually got me. We were at a garage sale in Wetaskiwin, Alberta, of all places, and they were selling this giant blow mold penguin for 25 cents. And that thing traveled with me for the first, honest to God, 10 to 15 years of my career. And I only recently got rid of it. But yeah, I missed the giant penguin because it was a mainstay of my casa. But now, got to grow up and make room for wrestling toys. So.
Yeah, exactly. When's the giant glow-in-the-dark wrestler showing up?
Well, that's cool. And that's kind of what I pictured, is you just having some vintage decorations. What for you is Christmas music besides Bootsy Collins?
Well, actually, there's a lot of great funk and soul artists through the years that have done Christmas records that I really like. James Brown did 3 Christmas albums in his career, and all 3 of them are fantastic. Because you know what's great about James Brown Christmas song is that James Brown doesn't cover "Oh Come All Ye Faithful" or "God Rest You Merry Gentlemen." James Brown writes James Brown songs, but just puts Christmas lyrics to them, right? So they're still just like Papa's Got a Brand New Bag or whatever, except it's got Christmas lyrics. And he's got some really great ones too. So his records are great. But my all-time Christmas record of all time, and there's so many, there's tons. There's so many great ones. But my favorite is this band called the Rotary Connection from the 60s. And they did an album called Peace. And it's all Christmas tunes, and they do Silent Night, but they do the heaviest version of Silent Night you've ever heard with wailing guitars. And my favorite cut on the album, it's a really good record, really great soul with a little bit of a psychedelic twitch and that. But there's one song called Peace at Least, and it answers the age-old question of why does Santa come down the chimney instead of coming through the door?
Interesting. Do I want the spoiler, or do I want to listen to the song and find out?
Well, actually, the song is pretty great. But the song is amazing. But yeah, the idea is that according to the Rotary Connection, Santa is smoking mistletoe, and that's why he comes down the chimney. It's like, listen, it's so great because it's got these amazing, like, awesome soul background vocals, harmony vocals, and they're all going, "He's so high," and the other guy's going, I know, he's high. Like, it's brilliant. I love it.
And for any kids that are listening on a road trip right now, what we mean is he is smoking it to season it, and he's so high because he's in his flying sleigh. Sure, why not? Or you know what, parents, good luck in explaining that one. But anyway,
it's a great record. Like it's got amazing lyrics and it's really great music. So that's my favorite one. The Rotary Connections, the band, and the album's called Peace. Even the picture on the front of the front cover, it's basically Santa with this big long pipe. That's the front cover of the record.
Well, a corn cob, no less, right?
It's like one of those big. It definitely looks illicit.
I love it. Only with Dan Lovranski can we have a conversation about Santa and illicit pipes. But that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. So, do you have a Christmas beer with you right now? Do you have an Advent beer?
Today's is just chilling in the fridge.
Okay.
Which is the Great Lakes Pompous Ass. So I'm just waiting for it to get a little bit colder.
Okay, well, maybe by the time we're done here, we can share, because I rarely drink, as you know, but I've been hanging on to these for a special occasion, and we get these every show that we do for Dungeon Wrestling. This is not a beer. This is a exclusive Bret the Hitman Hart limited edition Romero rum Cuba Libre. And
whoa,
the amount of sugar in this thing alone is going to knock me out for the night as being a diabetic. So I was only going to share this drink with Dan Lovranski. So if that beer happens to get cold enough, then you and I will get and I'll send you some of these. I'm going to send you some of these because
that's why I didn't even know about those. I've never even seen those. Amazing.
Yeah, well, they only sell them at Romero, and then we get them at the shows as kind of a after show treat, right? But again, save that for the boys and everything. But I actually picked these up the last time we had a Romero Rumble, which is a big outdoor show we do. But
so is that a particular favorite of his? Like, is that a drink that he enjoys?
Yeah, I think he's a big rum guy. He'll also do the single ice cube scotch, right? Where he'll just let it sit. And I like to do that with bourbon. Just get a nice big round thick glass, big ice cube and bourbon. Yeah, it's great. And the other thing he has that I'm going to send you next time I'm in Calgary is I'll pick you up some Hitman's Ale. And you can only get that at the Hitman's bar right now. And the Hitman's Ale, it's actually got a pink hue to it. But I got to be honest, as a guy that's not a big beer guy, I've had a couple and they are great.
Is it a lager, an IPA? Do you know?
It's not an IPA. I know that much. It's almost like I'd probably put it in the lager category. I'm going to see if it's see if there's an online description here. Hitman's Ale, but yeah, it's really cool. That the can is cool because it has like a double toned sort of fade of him in his classic gear and everything with the belt and they're always tall boys, so that's the other good thing too. But yeah, it's a blonde ale.
Oh, it's a blonde. Okay, that'll be good. Yes,
a blonde ale with a pink hue. Yeah, it's fantastic. And again, not a big beer guy here, but I mean,
blondes are good because they're fairly easy to drink and they're also great summer beer. Yeah, blondes are really good in the summer, right?
Yeah. Pretty amazing stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, he's got a few different. The Hitman likes the hooch. What I've learned. It's and not like it's a problem or anything, but he's just he enjoys a good beverage. And he's definitely like a sip and talk sort of guy. So it's really cool is when you see all the wrestlers after a show.
He's not driving to the next show, chugging them in the back seat and throwing the bottles at the stop signs as they go.
Yeah, no, that was back in the 80s.
That's like Dick Murdoch and the boys would do, right? Buy their loaf of bread and their chunk of bologna and make sandwiches and then buy a case of beer and drink the beers and throw the beers at whatever signs they could hit.
Yeah, but it's so cool to see him when after the show, and of course all the wrestlers want to get like tips from him or whatever, and so they just sit down and he'll just sit there and he'll just kind of nurse his drink and tell stories and tell tales and everything. Man, it's It really is a cool thing. So I'm going to send you some of these here in the new year because, I got some things coming up here, which we'll talk about later. But
that sounds great. That sounds great. Always up for trying a new beer. Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
Or maybe I'll even just fly down with them. We'll see. But
that would be good too. That works too.
I'm missing the Lovranski backyard, but but in the time since we've talked, I mean, man, it's been basically almost a year now since I started off on this venture and you parted ways. And I just want to make sure that things are good on your end, man. There's a lot of people that still miss you and Joe, who's coming up in just a bit, and people just love hearing from you, Mouth. So things are good in the Mouth's world.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I can't complain. Work is good, although it's been a little tough this week because our building got flooded and, they're trying. It was an extensive flooding too, like a pipe burst. It wasn't like rain or something. It was like a pipe burst and literally turned into a giant waterfall on this one floor. And it got to go for several hours before it was detected. So, and it's all carpeted floor and stuff. So it's all, they've got to dry all the carpets and fix all the drywall and the baseboards and stuff. So that's real. They have all these huge fans running constantly. It sounds like you're working in the engine of like a B-52 bomber. It's freaking so loud. So, and I got to wear headphones and I got to kind of pay attention to what I'm listening to. So it's been pretty tough, but I've got like a whole week off now. So I'm totally going to just relax and that. And the other cool thing is I just started playing with some guys again now.
I saw that. Yeah, what's going on here?
We just did a gig this week. It was very fast. A friend came to me and said, hey, I've got this guy and that guy, and we want to do songs by the Cramps, and we want to do it at Christmas time, so we're going to call it the Krampus, right?
God, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so we called the show Songs the Krampus Taught Us. And we had a couple other bands, and we had literally a month. We got together, we put together a list of Cramp songs, all favorites that everybody in the band likes and that we could play, and whipped it into shape. And the gig actually went really great, actually a lot better than I thought, because you know what it's like with the first gig, right? Or say you first day at the Goat or whatever, right? Like you've got those jitters even if you're prepared, right?
Oh, the first one's the worst one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but the show went really great. We packed the bar on a Wednesday night right before Christmas when everybody's got a million things to do. So that was really great. And we pulled it off and everybody loved it. So that was a lot of fun. So now we have to, because we kind of just did it as a one-off for Christmas, but it went so well that we're kind of thinking, maybe we should do some more with this. So hopefully, something will come of that.
Don't do the Homer Simpson and invest in pumpkins and hold on to them till November. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe don't do the Krampus Valentine special, but
no. Well, let's see what we're thinking now. We'll change. We're trying to think of a new name actually, and trying to. Because I don't want to call you can't call it Krampus all year round, right? That just doesn't work. But we're trying to think of a new name that we could maybe put on it and that. But that was fun. I haven't played the drums in a long time, so that was fun. And those Cramps tunes, I was into them when I was a teenager when they first came out in the late 70s, early 80s. So the songs, a lot of them are ingrained into me anyways. I don't think there was a lot of learning going on. It was mostly just getting together with the guys and getting in the groove of playing, right? Because we all love these songs so much. So
have you and Aguinaldo ever played? Because he's been playing, fiddling around.
No, you know what? No, we haven't. No, it's just never kind of crossed the same path. He would. Yeah, no, and plus Joe's into progland, right? Joe loves his Rush and stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah. I'm no Neil Peart. No, that's for sure. I'm more, I'm a little bit lower end than that, but it would be fun. I would love it. I would love to do something with them just for fun. Yeah, for sure.
Hey man, just saying, if the band ever gets back together, figuratively or literally,
right.
You guys got a home here, as you know that. But well, that's cool. I mean, this is still technically a wrestling podcast, and I promised you, I guaranteed you, we were not going to do any best of or worst of, because here's the thing. I've always hated those things, and to me, it feels very pretentious and uppity to sit here and go like, well, this was the best.
Yeah. It's just I always found it with the law. I mean, I understood why the guys always wanted to do it, and that and most things revolve like anything that covers entertainment, sports, politics, everything. They all do a best and worst at the end of the year. And I was never super big on it either. I just thought, it's a lot of work, especially now with pro wrestling when you've got to pick a best match of the year. Like, good Lord, mate, when we first started out, you'd usually have one distinct one every year that you could easily pick. Now there's like 100 different ones you could pick out of the year. Like, it's crazy. So, no best or worst. No best or worst.
But I do
tell me what likes, but no best or worst.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what I'm wondering. I mean, out of the year, I know you've pretty much migrated to being an AEW guy, or are you watching anything else right now?
No, that's it. That's it at the moment. Unless I'm up really late at like 3 a.m. drunk and I stumble across Women of Wrestling. But other than that, because it still seems to pop up at like 3 a.m. But no, I'm pretty well just sticking with AEW. So yeah.
So are you a satisfied AEW fan? Are you happy with where things are right now, or
there's issues to be sure.
Right.
I think the main thing that bothers me, and I don't know how you really resolve it, because it's a real catch-22, I think, for AEW, and that's the constant getting a good storyline in motion and having an injury take it out. And it just seems to be happening too much. We just saw it this week with Kenny Omega and the whole diverticulitis and what's holding back, and Jericho doing the super somber promo on Dynamite and almost out of character for him. And I'm thinking once again, I'm like, there it is again, man. It happened with Adam Cole. It happened here with this one. Like it's happened in the past with Hangman. It's happened in the past with Omega. Like it's crazy. But the thing is, the fans that love that product, they want those kind of intense kind of matches. And if you're going to have those kind of matches, this is going to happen. And it really, that to me is kind of the biggest thing. There's other little things, but I'm done with the nitpicking. I don't want to do nitpicking.
And that's just it. And the funny thing is,
overall, that's my big one, is just that I feel so bad for them because they try to put these stories in place and then they have to kind of, just dive off or go. Like, I wonder, watching all the stuff with Joe and MJF now, is that what was supposed to happen with Adam Cole? Are they just putting that with Joe now? Like, you have to really just do whatever you can to kind of keep things going, right? And that seems to be the main issue with them, I think, more than anything, is that the style is too rough on the guys, even though they're not touring and doing house shows and stuff. And look at what's happening.
Well, some people say that might actually be why, is that because they're not out there building up the calluses as much. But that's
that's maybe
another story for another day. But just going back, and I just want to clear the air here, because I was kind of giggling when you were talking about all this stuff, and I wasn't laughing at people getting injured, obviously. But when you mentioned Jericho giving the somber promo, in my warped brain, somehow I picture Chris Jericho somehow devising a way in his head that he can take credit for Kenny Omega getting diverticulitis. It's like, I found some enzymes and I started slowly.
Yeah.
Like, this is just
I injected you.
A whack job Chris Jericho storyline that would come out of nowhere that oddly enough would probably be something that would work. But that's just it, though, man. And it's funny to hear you say that, because, again, going back to what we just said about the injury bug and maybe them not getting enough of the in-ring calluses out there, the other side of it is the AEW talent that still work the indies and still get the opportunity to do that. And if they get injured on one of those shows, that can affect their overall payout with the big show. So it's like, man, what do you do if you're a working wrestler and you have that schedule, or you have that day, and you want to make money? You want to work. This is what the fans want, but at the same time, you're risking, breaking your neck out there.
It's tough. Like I said, it's a real catch-22 in this situation, and they have to kind of find some way to manage. Maybe, like I said, you got to find some subtle ways that you can kind of just turn the intensity down a little bit, right? And try not to maybe have as much of the crazy stuff happening, because. And some of them too, again, Kenny Omega has already had a long career. I mean, this could just be the point where his body is starting to kind of say, whoa, Kenny, we need to take a break here or something, right?
Well, and that's the other thing too. We take these wrestlers for granted, and one day, as every great wrestler has said, the body just gives out. The mind is willing, but the body's not anymore. And I'd hate to think that of such a relatively young guy in Kenny Omega still. But again, he's been going for a long time. Dude, I first met Kenny Omega when he was doing indie shows. He was about a quarter of the size of what he is now. And I think he might have been like 19 or younger than that. Like he was super young, slathered in baby oil, to the point that it was almost awkward. But I mean, just knowing how long he's been in the game and how hard he worked over in Japan, especially, and and what he's been doing in AEW, like, I mean, all the credit in the world for wanting to go out and give your absolute best. But yeah, we never want to see these guys get hurt. And one of the first things I said when we found out that he's out with the diverticulitis is, I mean, that's, like love or hate a wrestler, you never want any of them to get injured.
No, absolutely. I wish him all the best, and I hope he can heal up and come back. But he's got to watch. He's got to pay attention to the signs, right? This is kind of like the second major thing that's taken him out for a while, right? I mean, he was already out for a huge chunk here in AEW, so hopefully they can kind of, or he can kind of sit back and kind of realize what he can do. He's a smart guy, right? Kenny Omega's a smart guy. One of the best interviews I ever did for The Law was with Kenny Omega. He did a Ring of Honor show here in Toronto, and I got to sit down with him. And it was right at the time when Shibata had the match with Okada and had the concussion, and that took Shibata out, right?
Right.
So that was a big focus of our discussion was, that working and the intense style and what do you do and how do you get around it and all that kind of stuff, right? So he's a smart guy. I would just hope that he would kind of figure out things he can do. There's things he can do with his style to just tone it down a bit, Well, at this point of the game, people are going to cut him some slack, I think. I would hope that most Kenny Omega fans would cut him some slack,
There is that pro wrestling mentality too, though. And this through the talents you've interviewed or gotten to know through the years. And it's a very selfless and selfish feeling at the same time, where they feel they have to lay it all out there. My fans will not be happy if I don't go out there and give it all and leave myself in a puddle in the ring. And it's funny and I don't know if it's just working with some of the old school guys now or just lessons I'm learning. Like, this stuff was never supposed to hurt, and it's wild how much wrestlers are willing to put on the line to either get that pop or get what is believed to be a quote good match. To me, a good match is if you cheer, you boo, and you take the gamble on whether or not you think who's going to win is going to win.
Yeah. It's a tough one too. I think the current wrestler mindset too is a lot different than what it was, say, like in the 60s or 70s, where those guys, they weren't fans of wrestling. They weren't at home growing up, watching it constantly and seeing all this stuff and getting so possessed with it. These guys were kind of like misfits that didn't fit into other worlds and just kind of stumbled into pro wrestling because they were either tough guys or there was nothing else they could do, right? And those guys were very protective of each other and were always trying to figure out ways not having to bump a whole lot in a match and stuff like that, and stuff that they could do. Dick Murdoch would go out there and tell everybody in the garden that Madison Square Garden was called a garden because you are all vegetables. Like, he knew how to get the crowd. He knew how to get the crowd worked up and stuff like that, so that when they got out there, they didn't even have to do that much. The crowd was so incensed, and that's kind of not what it's like anymore. Now it's all about the in-ring, which is great. I mean, I love a good match as much as the next guy, but you got to kind of start to think about where do you draw the line, especially when it's, you're trying to be a competitive promotion. You're trying to establish some stories and hook your fans. And it's like, you're just getting, it's like a thwarted fisherman. He's got the hook sort of in, but just not thick enough to get the fish. And it's making it really tough for them, and then because those main guys are out, then you have to have other guys to take their spots. And sometimes people aren't willing to see them at that level. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure,
man. The more you talk, and this is going to sound like I'm shilling for my home promo, but again, I got to get you to a dungeon show. you would love these things. If you love watching the old Dick Murdoch tapes and MSG, and I don't know if you ever watched a lot of the old Stampede tapes.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Man, when we get in that pavilion, and there is a very much a ground and pound feel to these shows. It's a lot of just the old school stuff. But here's the best part about it is, and again, not to put over one city over another, but I said this on my last weekend here. The Calgary crowd, they're all in on it. Like, they go in and they buy. They don't need 1,000 high spots and everything. If they get one,
Right.
they're appreciative of it, But they're just into the whole ambiance about it. It's almost like an old school wrestling crowd.
Yeah.
And man, like the stuff that you would think would never work in 2023 or 2024, that people might go, oh, that's tacky, that's passe. No, like if you go in with the mood to, I want to go watch wrestling, you don't care how intricate and crazy the moves are. But we had the Billington Bulldogs, who are in MLW now.
Yep.
And they were defending their tag team championships. And I don't know how much you've seen of them, but first of all, Thomas, both nephews of course, Tom Billington, but Thomas looks exactly like Tom.
Yeah.
Crazy. But then he came out in a House of Fire, and we had a pretty serious injury to Mark, his brother, in the match. But dude, he came out and it was ground and pound and flying around and at the same time just hard hitting stuff. And it was one of those matches where you still, even though there was this big snafu right in the middle of it, like you left there going, holy, that was a wrestling show. And
Right.
I think if we allow ourselves, no matter what, especially with this big AEW tour coming up next year, to just go into wrestling shows and be a fan again. Just go in and have fun, man. I'm not saying it's going to change the wrestler's style, but maybe if they learn that they can get just as good of reactions out of doing the simple stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about being creative, right? It's all about creative. And Bret is tuned in. He would know a lot of those older tricks from back in the past and how to use those and how to take those older storylines that he would have maybe saw that his dad did in Stampede when he was young and recreate them for 2023, right? Or 24, whatever year we're in now. But they're like, that was the one thing that I liked about AEW when it started, was it showed right away that you could take a lot of those older concepts and make them work in this day and age, right?
Yeah.
So there's got to be ways to get around it, because no one wants to see these guys be getting hurt constantly, and it's hard to invest in a promotion if they keep starting stories and they get cut off, because after a while you get frustrated. Because it's like, well, I was looking forward to that. Now that's done. I was looking forward to that. Now that's not happening, And then you're kind of like going, and then why are all these guys in a tournament? Because why did these guys even rate to get in a tournament? But, everything gets screwed up because of all the injuries and stuff. So guys got to fill holes. And sometimes you're like, well, what's that guy doing there? But there you go.
Well, I'm just glad that AEW is finally getting another championship in the mix, because it's been far too long since another new belt just showed up.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I'm disappointed in over the short period, because first I really thought they were going to stick to a couple, right? A main title, maybe like an intercontinental type thing, the international title or whatever, and then tags, and that's it. But no, it's like 6-man, international, TBS, TNT. They're way too many. They just
brought in a Ring of Honor TV title too.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Women's TV title, I should say.
And then putting, we've got this tournament for another title because they want to have their so-called Triple Crown. Yeah, it's too much. It's definitely too much, I think, and it's just it dilutes like anything where it's too much. It just dilutes everything, and none of them really mean that much, except maybe the main one in this case.
But the more important question, when AEW comes to Ontario next year, is Dan the Mouth Lovranski going to be in the crowd?
Oh, probably. I didn't see what's the Toronto thing. Is it like a Dynamite, a Collision, or both? Or like, are they doing more than one show?
They're doing a bunch of shows around Ontario, which is crazy this time. One of the big ones is actually going to be in Ottawa this year. Ottawa, Toronto on March 20th. They're doing just a Dynamite show.
Okay.
Just a Dynamite. And Ottawa is going to be Collision. And then you've got Quebec City getting Dynamite and Rampage. and London, Ontario getting a collision.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know at this point. It's hard to say. I want to see where things are closer to the day, honestly.
That's fair.
Before I invest in this one.
Well, I got a lot of time before they make it my way here out west, because even though they announced it as the Canadian tour, the rest of the dates are all like a month apart from each other. So it's like,
oh, yeah, really?
Yeah, they're in Winnipeg in April. So 2 weeks after the March date in London. And then it's not till May the 8th, they're in Edmonton. May the 11th, they're in Vancouver. And then July the 10th, they come back to Calgary for another Stampede edition. So, I mean, that's literally 4 months.
Yeah,
one show
it's stretched out. Yeah, it's stretched out. Well, I mean, that's all they do, right? They only do the TV. There's no house shows, so
well, that's it.
That's all you get. That's all you get.
It's not a best of or worst of, but I do have to ask you, in 2023, going into 2024, who is Dan Lovranski most looking forward to seeing maybe break ahead or become an even bigger star in the next year?
Oof.
And this will be AEW exclusive. I'm not going to hold you to any other company because it's all you watch. But
I like how you haven't asked me about Punk.
I wanted to keep this fun.
Yeah, exactly. Geez, who would I like to see get the really? Because I have to say at the moment, because there's a couple of guys that are getting big pushes. Like I honestly, I don't understand the Andrade push in AEW. I don't know what I don't know what it is about that character for me. It's just super cold. Maybe something to happen with him. I don't understand. I don't see what the attraction is there. I'm trying to think of who
maybe they're just trying to get the most out of him before he leaves.
Well, I mean, it's so hard because they have so many guys. I don't know if there is anyone there that's like that. I'm like super like that guy needs the push right now. Like I don't even understand the Swerve push really at this point. So
I love Swerve Strickland, but I swear that half that push is the Nana dance.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding?
Nana dance.
Are you kidding? I would say 75%. Like seriously, that is totally a huge part of it. People love that when he does the dance.
Swerve is great. He's got presence, but the Nana dance is what puts it over for me. So
yeah, no, I don't blame you there. It's one of the most attractive parts about it. But he's another guy that's just kind of cold for me. I don't really understand the push on Swerve, I have to say. I'd like to see Roosh do really well. I think he's got potential. Even just older guys that I mean, Lethal, I guess, is getting up there, Jay Lethal. But I just think he's gotten hardly anything since he's been in. And then they put him in the tournament here and he got didn't even give him one win. He didn't get one win in this tournament. And I thought, geez, even when, New Japan does the G1, guys will get some wins. I
get a sympathy win.
This wasn't a big enough. Yeah, usually there's some, and sometimes it's over a bigger guy. It's like where it's over a high, like Okada will job to Yano or something. Yeah. I guess I'd like to see Daniel Garcia get a bit more of a push. I think he's got potential.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's touch base on this next year. How's that sound?
Yeah. It's a tough one. There's no one that I think that like I just go, yes, that guy's not getting the push he deserves.
Sorry, Daddy Magic. I was pushing for you there, but hey, they're good dudes. They're good dudes.
No, they're funny guys.
I don't know if your beer's right or not, but
yeah. Let me go grab it.
This is where we stall for time as Mouth goes and gets his beer advent calendar beer. But we're about to wrap this up, but still lots more to come here on the Christmas Hullabaloo here on McGuire on Wrestling. Thank you for listening and being a part of this. There he is.
All right. Yes.
Are we cold enough?
Very nice. Pompous ass. Oh, yeah, we're ready.
All right. Here we go. Here's to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers.
Oh, cheers. I have to drink this one in a glass.
Yeah, Dan's fancy. He puts his drinks in a glass.
But if you look at it, it's a Batman glass.
Oh, nice.
That's not.
I'm surprised it's not a Spider-Man glass though, with how many Spider-Mans you have in your kitchen. But
I think there's a Spider-Man one in there somewhere.
There you go. Well, there you go. The Hitman Cuba Libre is doing its job here.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. It might be pompous in name, but it tastes very good.
I love it. Dan, it's always great catching up with you, man. I'm sure everybody here is loving hearing from you. And most importantly, I hope to see you again soon, buddy, because it's been too long.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, if you do come out for the Ontario shows, by all means, we'll hook up. We'll figure it out. We'll get it together.
I got some exciting stuff coming up in the new year, and that might be part of it. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, my friend. All the best to you and the lady, and to everybody out there in Mouthland. Appreciate you.
Cheers.
Hey, this is Bret the Hitman Hart, and I'm wishing everybody a very Merry Christmas and a fantastic 2024.
Okay, Bret Hart. Santa's been watching you all year. You've been a good boy. You had an excellent match tonight. What is it you want most for Santa to bring you this year?
Well, I want you to bring for me most. I want you to bring peace and prosperity to everybody everywhere around the world. And for me personally, I want you to bring to me the biggest, the baddest, the meanest, and the toughest competitors in the entire World Wrestling Federation, just so I can prove to myself and to all the skeptics, everybody everywhere, that I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I am the World Wrestling Federation champion, and I just want to prove it. And also, I want you to have a Merry Christmas, too.
Yes, and to you, too, Bret Hart. A very Merry Christmas to all.
Happy holidays, Bret.
Yeah, it's important for everybody to have a good holiday. It's been a long couple of years, the last few years with COVID and everything, so it's a good year to really sort of kick it off and start having good Christmases again.
So I sent you a text yesterday saying, hey, I'm coming into town. Are you busy? And you sent me a text that I'm not calling you a liar, but I find it a little hard to believe. You told me, well, Mike, I got to finish up some Christmas shopping. And I got to ask, are you a Christmas shopper? Are you an avid shopper?
I mostly order online. I'll be honest. I got all my shopping done except for I got my two sons. I got to figure out what to get for them.
Oh yeah.
That's it. So I'm coasting to Christmas Day. I'll figure it out.
You got the Amazon deal now too as the gift man. I mean, that's got to make things a little easier, but
well,
you have a reputation now. If you're the gift man, you got to be delivering.
There's a lot of hard work that goes into being the gift man.
I love that commercial, by the way. It was great. The longer version where you're taking everything out on the box too is fantastic. I love that. How much fun was that?
It was a lot of fun doing it. I liked the little bit at the end about the gluten-free
the catering tray.
That was all ad-libbing. I'm not even a gluten-free guy.
No.
But it was funny. I even laughed. I broke the whole setup when I did it that day.
That's good.
And when I saw it on the commercial, I was like, that was pretty good.
So here's the thing I'm wondering. When it comes to holidays, what does a Bret Hart want for Christmas?
I'm not too fussy anymore.
Yeah.
I'm a guy that's got most everything. If I want it, I got it.
Yeah.
I cherish just the moments of family time, and I got a new puppy this year, so it's just enjoying all the little things in life, and just happiness is always right around the corner if you're looking for it.
I'm learning this myself, that like I go down to Lethbridge now every Christmas to see my family there, and they send me a text what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, dude, I'm getting my gift. I get to hang out with you guys. That's all I want,
Yeah, sometimes simple, just happy things can make life all it needs to be.
I love it. Well, on behalf of everybody, just want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for everything, man. Thanks for the friendship. Thanks for what we do here, and thanks for the laughs.
All right, well, keep the ball bouncing.
Let's do it. Christmas. There's snow somewhere.
Not here.
Nor here.
I think Barrie, just north of us, around that area, got some. But
well, good for the fine folks in Barrie, Ontario. How are you, Joe Aguinaldo?
I'm all right. It's been busy.
Yeah. Well, Mouth already spilled the beans on the fact that where you work is all flooded. So yeah. So we've kind of talked about that already.
All right.
Which was kind of half the fodder that you and I were going to do, because we're going to do a whole thing where we're going to insinuate what happened and see if people could figure out what we were talking about. And I had all these things kind of lined up in my head. I was going to be like, there she blows and rising from the depths, it's Joe Aguinaldo and all this stuff. But
yeah, well, I guess Dan just totally spoiled that.
Yeah, well, he was great in so many other ways, though, as the Mouth is.
It's Dan. Of course he's great.
And I should warn you, I am now maybe an eighth of a can into my Bret the Hitman Hart limited edition Cuba Libre.
My goodness.
Which me, the non-drinker, I mean, I might as well just be, plastered at this point. But nevertheless, here we are, my man. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Ho-Ho, whatever you're doing. What is Christmas like in the Aguinaldo household?
It's pretty traditional. I mean, we're heading over to my parents' house on Sunday, which is Christmas Eve, and just gonna hang out. Eat lots of food, drink lots of coffee, open a couple of gifts here and there, and away we go.
But you're Filipino, and you've told me numerous times that eat lots of food is pretty much everything you do every time you go to your parents' place.
No. This is like above and beyond the call here.
Okay, but the last time you told me about a feast, it was like this gigantic feast where you could feed a small community with it,
and it'll be like there are levels to the gigantic feast. So
okay,
Christmas is usually, if not the biggest, it's like the second biggest after, say, Thanksgiving. But
wow.
Yeah, I'm expecting to roll out of my parents' place on, after this party.
That's fantastic. I've got the trip down to Lethbridge, which for me right now is about a 7-8 hour drive.
Oof.
And I'm spending some days down there, and then I head back here to Lloyd for a bit, and then things are happening, which I'll talk about in the new year. But in the meantime, it's pretty crazy, dude. I mean, how many years have we known each other now? Is this 3 years now? 3, 4?
I think we're at 3. Getting there, it's like 2+. But
yeah. But the funny thing that you guys don't know is that for most of that 3 years now, as I have spent a lot of it on the road for different reasons, one way or another, Joe has often been my phone companion on the road for no reason other than I think he's just bored, or he's sympathetic to my needs, or just wants to provide some human interaction. I don't know what it is. Well, your kids are getting older, so
I'm the compliment. You're the guy that's, you're gallivanting, in radio, you're doing the dungeon wrestling thing. And, while you're doing all that stuff, I'm doing laundry. That's the balance.
Living vicariously. Now, for those that also don't know, I'm going to play one right now. In your spirit, Joe.
Okay.
Living vicariously. And I made them splitters for my show. So here's one now.
Nice.
Live vicariously.
Will you promise to laugh even if it's not funny?
McGuire on the GOAT.
Tremendous.
So that voice is David Kaye, who has voiced like Optimus Prime and a bunch of other characters. He's a huge name in the radio big voice game. I'm sure
Massive.
He does. Yeah, I'm sure he does some things for several of the stations under your company. Yep. And just to hear him say, and I had to teach him how to say living vicariously, because it's such a stupid word that we came up with. But so because he first got the script, and he's like, living vicariously? Live vicariously? It's like, no, that makes it sound medical.
And
like
the scary part about it is that I can hear him saying that.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I can exactly hear him going, living vicariously, yes, or something. But
he finally got it right on one of them, and it was perfect. There might have been a little editing involved, but no, it was great because who would have thought you'd have one of the legendary voices saying our stupid catchphrase? But I got plans, baby. I got all sorts of plans. So
I love it.
Trust me. One day I'm gonna get some major voice to bring in Mr. Big Stick into a conversation. And for those that don't know what we're talking about, back when Joe and I used to do a Monday Night Raw review, we were talking about all sorts of weird Christmas things, and one of them came up was that in somewhere, it was New Brunswick or Newfoundland.
Yeah, I think it was like Nova Scotia.
Yeah, let me. You know what? Now I got to look up the story again. So here you go, an encore of Mr. Big Stick, Newfoundland. Yeah, Newfoundland Labrador.
That's right. Yeah.
And so it's the mascot for the Big Stick Baloney, which is a huge thing out there. And
it's like, wasn't it like bigger than the Santa Claus parade or something like that?
It's bigger than Santa. It's the biggest.
Yeah.
He actually comes out after Santa. Like Santa comes out for the Santa Claus parade, and that's the. And then the funniest thing about this was we found the reporter's name. You know what? I'm going to try and find that clip and dump it in here because it was just too funny. In St. John's, Newfoundland, during their Christmas parade every year, there is a baloney mascot that upstages Santa Claus every year. I'm sending you this image now, okay? It's probably going to be a part of the slide for the episode because
I was going to ask about that.
I did not expect to see this at all. But here
God.
we are.
And it's called Big Stick.
It's called the Big Stick. So if I may, courtesy of theglobeandmail.com, shut up. The author of this article's name is Sarah Smelly.
Come on.
Right? This whole thing's a rib. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought just for fun, since you and I are here, and Mr. Big Stick was such a success back in the day, that maybe I would do what we just did last time, and I would Google funny Christmas news stories and see what happens to come up here.
All right.
So we're going to go first to the Huffington Post. And, well, here's the one. I saw actually this. Joe Biden met Mariah Carey at the White House.
Ooh.
Which, that damn song. You know, I don't know why Whamageddon gets so much publicity when everybody should be trying to deke the hell out of Mariah Carey. But nevertheless, I guess they made it a big production. And, yeah. Let's see here. In the clip posted to Biden's X account, the often dubbed, quote, Queen of Christmas shake hands with the commander-in-chief, and they express their mutual admiration. Oh, God. And then he says, see, this is where Joe Biden has problems. And this isn't a political statement. I would say this about anybody else. I guess he takes out his phone to Mariah Carey, and he goes, I want you to know, says the president, who then plays All I Want for Christmas Is You. And he plays the song on his phone. What a dork.
Like she probably hasn't gotten that, a million times already.
Oh my gosh. But
I guess
crazy.
if the president does it, it's a little different.
I'm going to play a clip from this video.
Hello, Mariah. How are you?
You look so very
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan.
I just want you to know.
Oh, we love it.
Come on.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can hear that or not, but he's playing the song for her right now.
Oh my god, that's yeah, it's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
A little weird. It's a little creepy.
Weird. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, nevertheless, that's one story. I guess that was kind of a 0 for 1 on the funny scale here.
Go Joe.
Go Joe.
Oh my god.
Let's see here. Vintage Connoisseur offers 5 fantastic tips for a classic Christmas. Let me ask you about your Christmas tree for a second here. Do you do like the knick-knacky ornaments that like celebrate every year and you get a new one every year, or is it just straight like balls and garland?
No, you know what? We used to do that more when the kids were younger. So like when we put up our tree this year, we have like kind of our standard quote unquote decorations, but there are a few that we put up that are sentimental because they were the first, like the kids' first,
right?
Stuff. But yeah, we're not buying like ornaments every year or anything like that or changing them out. I think we might buy one every couple of years just to get something new up there, but yeah, generally we just put the tree up and like to put some gifts under it. Nothing That's crazy.
Fine. See, my tree is a hodgepodge when I have my Christmas decorations because we were always about the new ornaments every year. Right. And me being the collector nerd that I am, there was that streak, and they still make them, but Hallmark was putting out really cool Star Trek Starship ornaments.
Yeah. I remember those.
And of course, I had to have them all. And I think that I think where I should have fallen off was after they stopped making Enterprises. Like they made like the Klingon bird of prey and the Romulan warbird and all this stuff. And I'm like, they're just violent looking ships, like the Enterprise always looked like this classy thing. Like, oh, there's the starship from the Good Guys show. And then you get these like warships in there. I'm like, does that really need to be on my tree? Yeah, but it's the set, but is it really, so. And now you can get like crazy ornaments. Like I'm not a big Star Wars guy, but they have the one where you can actually literally see Han Solo get dropped into the, carbonite or whatever. And he comes up frozen. And that's like a Christmas ornament. It's like, hey, happy holidays. Here's a guy getting encased in metal.
That's a deep cut, man. Like I understand that as a Star Wars fan, but on your Christmas tree, I'm like, maybe you might want to hold off on that one a little bit.
Well, and to play the devil's advocate here too, on the Star Trek side, I bought this for $1 at a liquidation place because I thought it was hilarious. Sure. I don't put it on my tree or anything, but it's from the old original Star Trek series, and it's Sulu when he goes crazy and he rips his shirt off and he's like attacking Captain Kirk with a sword.
Oh,
and they're like fencing in the hallway.
Yeah. I remember that
like
one.
The most famous George Takei scene from that TV series, right? And I'm like, that's a Christmas ornament. Okay. All right. Well, the stockings were hung by the chimney with care in the hopes that Sulu and Kirk would be swashbuckling there. I don't know. Jeez. Okay, so that's kind of we're not doing well here with the Huffington Post funny Christmas stories. Oh, how about this? 6 stupid holiday food rules that are really diets in disguise.
Okay, hold on. We gotta talk about this. Let's go.
Okay.
Bring this one up here.
Skipping a meal or a snack before a holiday party to, quote, save room. And they say this one has restrictive diet written all over it. No, it doesn't. How is that restrictive? You're literally saying I'm going to go be a pig at someone else's expense when I get to this party. That is not restrictive at all.
That might be like timing, but I wouldn't call that restrictive.
And the way groceries cost these days, that's just good saving money.
That's just good saving, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of groceries, holy crap.
That's financial planning there. Working out hard to earn a holiday meal or treats. Well, we know you don't do that. That's not how working out works.
No, you just work out.
Yeah. Or you just concede defeat. Because remember, New Year's is right around the corner. Oh, here, this is the one right here. Telling yourself your diet starts in the new year as a way to give yourself permission to eat holiday foods now. No, don't do that either. I'll load up on all my faves now: green bean casserole and double serving of stuffing. And my diet starts first thing tomorrow. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
You're eating cold stuffing and gelatinous-y green beans starts tomorrow. That's what happens there. Restricting yourself from drinks with calories. By the way, I'm enjoying my Bret the Hitman Hart Cuba Libre still, so that's not happening.
Yeah, these like holiday dieting tips, like they're not dieting tips, man. Like, come on.
Making healthy swaps for dishes you love so you can enjoy them guilt-free. Yeah.
No, no, that's not happening either.
Yeah. Because, forget a bowl of stuffing. I want a big bowl of kale.
Let me get that Beyond Meat turkey. Yeah, right. That's not happening.
Don't get me started. One of the first things I did when I got to the goat, we brought back this thing called Test Market Tuesday, and we did plant-based sausages.
Oh, no thanks.
Oh, no.
By the way, are you still doing that?
No, we've retired the bit for now because honestly, grocery prices are too expensive.
All right, because because if you bring it back, you gotta have the Chef Boyardee spaghetti.
I know. Well, we went to do it, and then everybody went on vacation, and then we got a vegetarian. Like out of the 3 on-air talents, myself included, one of them's a vegetarian, so I couldn't get her on.
No, that's not.
Frankly,
happening.
Nobody else wanted to eat the stuff. So. And that's it. That's their tips for holiday food rules that are actually diets in disguise. Yeah, that was stupid for a different reason, though. Sorry.
Yeah, that's not good journalism. I don't know what's going on with Huffington Post these days, man.
No. Oh, you want to do Christmas jokes?
Oh, God. All right.
This is from USA Today, which, of course, as we know, is a well-renowned curator of comedy.
Oh,
USA
God.
Today.
All right, let's hear some of these.
If this is one of those articles I have to pay to subscribe to, we're not getting through it quick.
Okay.
Did you hear about what happened to the man who stole the advent calendar?
Hang on. What happened to the man that stole the advent calendar?
You don't need to repeat them back. He got 25 days.
Oh.
Okay, let's see here. No, that's crap. That's really garbage. Why is the Grinch such a good gardener? If you don't get this one, we're ending this call. Why is the Grinch such a good gardener?
Why is he such a good gardener?
You don't get it?
I don't get it.
He has green thumb.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
All right, and we're done with Joe. Just kidding.
You're also talking to the guy that has absolutely no pop culture reference here.
The Grinch, Joe.
I don't know.
You know what the Grinch is.
I know what the Grinch is. I didn't know he had a green thumb. I guess he's all green.
He's all green.
Yeah, it's still a stupid joke.
He's got a green thumb, a green arm, a green... You know what I mean? Like, it's all green.
I would hope. All right. Your word for it.
Yeah, I have no evidence on that.
Okay.
It would be really weird if it was a different color. Just comes out bright orange. Anyway.
Oh, God.
How about this? What's the best present to receive?
What is the best present to receive?
This is a dumb setup for a joke. There's no a broken drum. You just can't beat it.
Oh, God.
Remember when John Cena used that same line, but he was talking about something else? He said it at WrestleMania.
Those
and we're not
horrible.
saying what he said here. We're not saying what he said here.
We're not saying what he said.
Go back to WrestleMania 19 or 20. I can't remember if it was 19 or 20. It was one of those anyways. Oh boy, this is bad. Why did Scrooge keep a pet lamb?
Don't know. Why did
Because it would say bah humbug.
Oh, God, these are horrible.
You know, USA Today, I didn't expect much.
No,
but you have far flown under the radar here.
That's horrible even for USA Today.
Who delivers presents to baby sharks at Christmas?
Don't know.
Santa Jaws.
Oh, God.
All right, last one here there's elf jokes here. I don't feel comfortable doing elf jokes. Reindeer jokes. Okay, that's a fun play on words, but it's not that funny. What did Santa give his reindeer with a stomach bug? Alka-Seltzer.
Oh,
that's an old timey joke. That's
yeah.
You got to know what Alka-Seltzer is for that one. Snowman jokes. I feel like we can do a snowman joke.
Okay.
Oh God, this is so bad. What do snowmen call their offspring?
Snowballs? I don't know.
Children.
Oh, God.
Okay, I know I said one more, but we're doing one more.
All right.
There's winter jokes here. Christmas tree. There's a Christmas tree joke category.
Let's hear that.
160 Christmas jokes. Not one of them funny.
Oh,
here we go.
Wow.
Why wouldn't the cat climb the Christmas tree?
Why not?
It was afraid of the bark. Oh, because dogs bark. What if you eat shiny Christmas tree decorations? This one isn't bad. What do you get if you eat shiny Christmas tree decorations?
What do you get?
Tinselitis.
Ah. These are horrible.
Well, thank you, USA Today, for these gems. If you're still listening, by the way, right now, dear listener, thank you so much because we have done nothing to earn your attention this long here. You know what? Nothing's gonna beat Mr. Big Stick ever.
No, Mr.
Ayo.
Big Stick was the greatest thing ever.
Quite possibly. All right, well, let's get back to business here. This is a wrestling podcast too, and you are very active. In fact, for those that don't know, Joe's still kind of in the ethos with the Team MoW Facebook page. He is one of our admins, and at the same time, also one of our most active contributors here. Joe, you also still put in some cool stuff, and I got to ask you, what has been, we're not doing best of worst stuff. We already established that with Mouth, but what has been for you the highlight of your year as a wrestling fan? Or have you had one?
I mean, if I had to pick something, I would probably say just the whole like sort of the all in thing, the history of the all in thing. But I gotta be honest with you. My highlight, for lack of a better way to say it, is actually stepping back from doing podcasts and just becoming a fan again. Like now I watch it and I don't like, I'm not like analyzing it. I'm not like, being insidey, as I like to say. I'm just enjoying the shows now.
Yeah.
And like, is there stuff I don't like? Sure. Like just stuff everyone doesn't like, but I'm just, like we always used to say this, you just got to watch the show. And I think that's really what I like about wrestling these days is I'm just enjoying it as a fan.
Got to watch the show.
Got to watch the show. And I got to tell you, like, I mean, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts anymore, except for like, honestly, yours and the ACT.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's just fun. Like you guys keep it fun. And that's what I actually am digging right now is that wrestling is fun again for me. So that's sort of been my highlight over the last little while is getting out of it, so to speak, and then just becoming more of a fan again.
And that legit has been the hope, like a lot of people wondered why I kept going, and I'm not going to get into the weeds on the old place, but for me, this has been what a wrestling show has always been. Should just be fun and silly, and let's talk about this business that we love, and to a degree, get into the weeds with Meltzer or if there's a big story. But for the most part, that was kind of why I wanted to do it this way too, is just to literally stay on top of important things, news, business, that sort of thing. But for the most part, enjoy it. And that's why you'll notice even when I have Meltzer on, I never really grill him about stuff. If anything, it's like what I do with you or what I do with the ACT guys or anybody else when we have listeners on. And that's just get opinions and just bandy about wrestling, because that's what it should be.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, but yeah, like that whole All In thing was insane. Like that whole card was really good. Actually, I'll even include All Out because I was not expecting All Out to be as good as it was a week later, and it was. So
yeah.
But yeah, All In I have to go with for me is like as a highlight of the year because of the attendance figures that you want. But it was a really impressive. It was a really. Oh
God, I'm so tired talking about those attendance figures.
Yeah,
that was all we could talk about for a month, and it was like, who cares?
Yeah, they had a good turnout. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, and next year it's going to be the same thing. Oh, they only got this many. You know what I say to that, Joe? You know what I want to say to that?
What?
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I miss your soundboard.
Yeah, it is. It's so good. What else do we have?
Yeah, all we need is a Mysterio Peace Theater, and we're set.
Oh, we got a request for that.
Did we really?
We got a request for Mysterio Peace Theater. I think it was Tips McGee that wanted it, like real bad too. Do we? Because he was like, I missed your impressions. You got to bring back Mysterio. Should we? I don't have any. I literally don't have anything planned.
You know what? No. You got to plan this. You can't just.
Well, that's just it though. But
I got nothing.
Here's the thing though. Like Rey Mysterio and Dominic reportedly just re-upped their deals, so they're going to be back in the company till they turn to dust by the sounds of things.
Yeah, at least Rey.
So are we going to? Wow, that got dark fast. But are we going to have another Rey and Dominic Mysterio feud down the line, do you think? And if so, what's it going to be like?
You got me. I mean, look, if you're going to do that, I'm going to guess it's got to be like I could see them doing like a retirement angle where, Rey's got to beat Dom or he retires, right?
Oh.
And you know that Rey is going to put his kid over. Okay, sorry, you don't know that, but chances are he will. So you're going to get one last hurrah there.
You know what I think this means, Joe? I think for the first time ever, we are going to do Mysterio Peace Theater in the future.
Wait. In the year 2000?
We can't steal that bit. That belongs to somebody else.
But still, we can do it.
Here we go. The year is 2035, and Rey Mysterio, now borderline elderly, is being challenged by his son, the infamous hardened criminal,
Dominants. You know, Dad, I gotta say, you're a deadbeat dad still to this day. Son, listen to me. I need you to repeat yourself. I can't hear what you just said. And scene.
Encore.
No.
Tips, that was for you, buddy.
Yeah, that was just for you, Tips, because trust me, that was hot garbage. But you know what, Joe? This is the thing. Just the Christmas hullabaloo is supposed to be this. This is just killing some time for folks that are getting through the holiday season. If you need some time to yourself, we're happy to be here. I was telling Mouth that I do foresee a plan out east in my future in the new year. So I will be heading your way at some point. I don't know if it'll be for the AEW shows or maybe I'll just come as a friend and go say hello. But either way, we got to hang out again. We got to find another noodle place. And maybe we'll do.
I got to steal some more chopsticks for you.
Yeah.
There you go.
I still have those, by the way. I mean, they're with half my stuff still in Saskatchewan. I still have them. The ill-gotten chopsticks.
Did you and Dan talked about the flood? You guys talked about the flood?
Oh yeah, here's the question I have for you though.
Okay.
The flood happened. He said a pipe burst or whatever, and it like went all over the place. Did it hit the slide?
No.
Ah, wasted opportunity.
Actually, no. Like, because had it gone okay, so where the pipe burst, the slide is south of that. Okay. No, because had the pipe burst there, that would have held up a major project that I'm involved in. So I'm kind of glad it didn't hit the slide.
Oh, but dude, you could have had a free water slide at work.
Maybe.
Definitely. Here's some goals for 2024, Joe. Find out the nearest plumbing supply to that slide.
Oh God, no. It was pretty bad though. I saw the video of the leak and it was literally a waterfall.
Just make sure it's water going into the building, not coming out of the building. And then you'll be okay. Well, my man, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the Christmas hullabaloo. I don't know if this was entertaining at all to anybody, but we had fun. And that's what it's all about. So all the best to you and the family this year, my man. Thank you most importantly for just being my friend. And
anytime, man. And you know what? Ditto. Feelings mutual, and best to you and your family as well.
Yeah, well, they're getting me, so it gets much better from there. But Joe, all the best, my man. And again, I can't wait. You always got a home here. I know we've talked about it a few times now, but anytime you want to come on, you're always welcome. And on behalf of everybody listening, it's great to hear your voice.
Oh, it's great to be on.
And if I can impart you with one thing, I just want to say this to you, Joe Aguinaldo. You're my son. I love you.
Thanks a lot, Dad.
There it is. Well, there you go. The first ever McGuire on Wrestling Holiday Hullabaloo is in the books. It's a lot later at night now than I'd planned to be recording this, but it was a lot of fun putting this all together for you as well. Now, don't get me wrong. I realize that as far as podcasts go over the holidays, this is one of the short ones. And maybe next year we'll make it longer. Maybe next year we'll go a little bit. I don't think I'll ever be able to do what John and Way do. Like I saw their post earlier tonight, and they've got like 6.5 hours or something crazy going on, which is awesome. It's great. I've got a lot of driving to do. So when you're done listening to us, flip over to them. And vis-a-vis, that's the great thing about this. It's not about competition. It's not about anything other than just being wrestling fans and loving talking about wrestling, hearing different opinions, and sharing yours, which, again, appreciate you doing so much each and every week. If you haven't joined the Team MoW McGuire on Wrestling Facebook page yet, do that. Share your articles, share your stories. Love hearing from all corners. I've had to stop myself a couple times now from spilling the beans on what's happening in the future here, but it's coming real soon, and by the end of next month, I'll be able to tell you everything. But it's all great things, and it's all thanks in part to the support of people like you listening, sharing the show, telling your friends about it, and at the same time, just being able to focus on some of my own plans and my own projects.
I'm going to cut bait here right away, but before I do, big thanks going out to RJ City, to Bret the Hitman Hart, to Dan the Mouth Lovranski, Joe Aguinaldo, and of course Mitch and Dimitri from the alternate commentary table. And thank you again for listening so much. Telling you, big things popping in 2024. And to quote somebody famous, that's not a prediction. That is a spoiler, my friend. Until next time, thank you as always for listening and letting me do what I do. Enjoy the interview omnibus coming out next weekend. Play safe, drive safe. Be seeing ya.
This is the Christmas preacher. He is huge. Oh, my goodness.